يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Our lives, and we have a lot of capabilities and a lot of luxuries and a lot of facilities, the ability to drive around, the ability to enjoy enclosed homes with air conditioning, the ability to have internet and electricity, the fact that we have our family, and the fact that we have our blessed friends. This is an amazing ni'mah of Allah. So everyone, please in your heart, feel thankful to Allah that we are privileged people. MashaAllah. We are privileged people. And if we can just exist in a state of gratefulness, this in itself is a blessing from Allah, and this in itself is a hope that Allah has accepted our condition, inshallah. Okay? So I really, from the bottom of my heart, I want to congratulate everyone here, and more so the moms for making the effort, for being here with themselves and with their children for the sake of Allah. The reason we are here is for the sake of Allah. The reason that we are here, we are putting a hold on our dunya events, and we are here in hopes to receive the mercy of Allah, and nothing else. So alhamdulillah, this is a great blessing. And as Sister Sophia was mentioning, whenever we're in a gathering, remembering Allah, the beauty is Allah is remembering us. And that is a beautiful grace and a beautiful, what can I say, honor from Allah. And we have many, many angels that are witnessing this very gathering. There are many angels witnessing this gathering. So inshallah, we ask that Allah accept from us, inshallah, and that we are able to benefit from this gathering. So alhamdulillah, and I am blessed, subhanAllah, I am blessed and privileged really to be in the presence of this wonderful group. Alhamdulillah, it's an amazing privilege, and I'm glad for all of us, inshallah. So alhamdulillah, I just have a few things that I want to discuss with all of the beautiful sisters here, and also this is definitely an open discussion, so add whatever you want. So, the idea is we're going to first start off with our spiritual discussion, which is more centered towards our connection with Allah. After we talk about that, then we're going to talk about other activities a little bit. And so the second one is definitely more feedback, discussion oriented, but even the first session, I want you to feel open, that no one is going to judge you, and that you can share your thoughts and feelings, because this is an extremely important way that we are relating with each other. We are here as sisters in Islam. This is extremely amazing. The fact that we are here today, all different colors, all different nationalities, all different places we live, all different things, all different backgrounds, all different futures. What unites us is that we are united by the sisterhood of Islam. So we are sisters in Islam. And we should have an amazing safety here, and an amazing feeling of companionship here, an amazing connection with each other where we can be open and we can appreciate Allah, appreciate His blessings and His book and His guidance and all of that sort of thing. So what is the purpose of preparing for anything? Why do we do that? Can someone share with me, why do we prepare for things? Like if you're, let's say, going to have final exams, is there a reason that we prepare for it? Yes, Anna?
To be ready.
To be ready. Exactly. To be ready for that experience. If we didn't prepare, then what would happen during that experience? We wouldn't what? We wouldn't so that when we experience those things, we get the full benefit. Even the college trips that many of you took earlier with Iman Academy, or you will take them, there's a purpose behind doing this in advance. They didn't wait until you're done with college to take you to those colleges. They took you in advance. Sometimes some of us think they took you too much in advance. Because it was like, kind of early, but alhamdulillah, there was a purpose to that. Now your views are going to be different. You're going to be thinking differently. So, alhamdulillah, we prepare for things that are important to us. And alhamdulillah, we are so blessed because we are here. And it's a wonderful time. It's like when you take your car in for servicing or for a tune-up, or when you go and get that crash course, like that orientation for something. And usually it feels so good when you do that. You know, when you get your car tuned up and you drive it off of the parking lot, it feels really good. I know most of you don't drive. You're hoping to one day. But, you know, whenever you feel, you know, the feeling of clean clothes, or whenever you feel like you just, you know, refurbished something, it feels really, really good. Similarly with Ramadan, there are so many benefits that it has. And alhamdulillah, if we start preparing from now, we can get the most benefit out of that. And so I want to share with you the concept of really, really connecting with the Quran. Really, really making a decision that alhamdulillah, most of us are ending 8th grade, some of us are in high school already ending 10th grade or so. But you know, this is such a unique opportunity in our life. This is a time of your life that will never come back. Never come back. And I don't mean that in a sad way. Most of you are going to be going to high school next year. And I think most of you are going, and some of you are already there. However, it is an extremely unique time of your life that you are leaving the 8th grade or the 10th grade, but you are leaving this moment forever. And when you leave, once you go to high school, things will never, never, never be the same again. Once you go to high school, guess what? Your grades actually count, so that whenever you go to college, those grades are like written in stone, and they're going to be looking at you from when? From 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. So until now, most of us had a real, you know, I don't want to use the word babyhood, but we had a trial version of life. Okay? It was okay if we messed up on something. It wouldn't count. No one's really going to see that. But now, when we're going into high school, this is a transition for not just Muslims. It's a transition for everybody, really, in the whole world. When people go into high school, that means something. Some people decide to even change schools. Some people, they go to, in other countries, they go into another system where they go directly into professional school around 9th or 10th grade. And here we are in this country, and high school really means something. They have an entire degree plan, which is just meant for high school students, right? So this is an important time of our life. And something about this time of our life, between the ages of about 14 to 18 or 19, this is a time of your life where your personality is going to be shaped like no other time. It's a very unique time of your life. Because here you are growing up, getting all of this cognitive growth, emotional growth, psychological growth, physical growth, right? And you're absorbing everything in your world. Sound like a sister and another. So you're absorbing everything, and at the same time, you're not responsible to live a fully adult life. You see why high school is really unique? Because you get a lot of the perks where you're trying out adulthood. Like many of you, let's say, have cell phones, many of you have your own laptops, you're beginning to get to do things, right? But it's not totally childhood, and it's not totally adulthood. So this is a really important time that we should be conscious of our tarbiya, our development process. And it's also a unique time. Here we have our parents still supporting us. Once we go into college, depending on where you go to college, you may not have the support of maybe your parents. You may have to become independent, where now you have to worry about how to pay for school, or how to do, you know, have your own home. You may live on your own, or you may get married. You may be responsible for, you know, your kids and your husband and your extended family. So in high school, you have a time in your life that you will never, ever, ever have again. And what I mean by that is that it's a unique time. I'm not trying to be positive or negative. But when I was in high school, alhamdulillah, that was definitely a unique time that shaped me. I had to try to raise, like thousands of dollars, like $8,000, book a hotel, call hundreds of speakers, and alhamdulillah, we had our first conference. And it was actually in May in 1994. We had our first convention, and then just by picking up the phone and calling people, I tried to get about 100 people that came from all different cities and states. Back then, we didn't have a lot of Muslims like we do now. So alhamdulillah, we had speakers from all over the country that came, and we had an entertainment session. It was really exciting. And then after that, throughout my high school years, every year we still had a convention in Dallas, alhamdulillah. And also, my parents did let me go to a lot of different conferences, like in 10th grade, every month they would send me something. There would be leadership conferences. And why am I telling you this? Because this was a unique time that shaped my life. It's a unique time that shaped most people's lives. And when you use it in the right way, it can be a great pedestal for the rest of your life. If you give yourself the right opportunities and if you put yourself on the right plan, then later you are going to benefit from that in your life. Okay? So tying that in with Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Welcome. And by the way, we were mentioning that, mashallah, this is a open gathering. At the same time, you are welcome at any time to go and get food. There's appetizers, there's food, there's drinks. As long as we're still focused and connected, you're welcome to go get anything you want. I just ask, that we try to, inshallah, focus during this time. Inshallah. So, yes.
SubhanAllah, we are like all the lectures or all the things they are talking about, but at least you will have some, SubhanAllah, things you benefit from. And the stuff last year, you see the sessions that we take and like the book that we, SubhanAllah, study, I'm sure that if you are not 50%, maybe 60% of it, like benefit from it. For me, I enjoy it. Last year, it was amazing. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, inshallah, maybe the senior, after the cadet, they will have the senior. After the senior, they will be the ambassador. So the senior, I look at the senior, it is more interesting than the cadet. SubhanAllah, it is even in the senior, you have more activities to do. Like you will interact with the community around you, the people around you more. So this is, inshallah, interesting with you. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair for your input, because this is, I could go on and on about this also, mashallah. And it's actually such a blessing to have such caring parents also, because what makes us unique from other, the rest of society is the fact that our parents really genuinely care about our growth and development, our well-being, and inshallah, we should take advantage of that. So with that point, the fact that we talked about preparing for things, the fact that we talked about Ramadan is coming, the next, and the fact that we talked about high school being a unique turning point in your life, a unique time which may not come back. And what I mean by that is, for example, when I talked about some of these events that I went to in 9th, 10th, 11th grade, and I got to know these amazing people who I still know. In fact, one of them, who was the national president, I named my daughter after her. And I was talking to her about this meeting. Her name was Fatima Salman. She was the, president of MINA back in 1994. And then my sister ended up marrying the next president. My sister flew in today from Michigan. After a year and a half. What's the next one? But, you meet amazing people. And what happens is you get a choice of when you choose, when you seek good companionship, as Allah told us, even in Surah Al-Kahf, I know Nadia can tell us, right? We were reading Surah Al-Kahf. When you seek good companionship for the sake of Allah, then what happens is a lot of opportunities open for you. For example, Al-Maghrib, right? When you go to Al-Maghrib, what happens is you see a lot of amazing people that you can connect with, and it helps you to become a better person. And that's kind of what we are hoping to do here in this gathering. Now, what I want to talk to you about a little bit is one way to prepare for Ramadan is to make the niyyah, to really connect with the Quran. As we know, Ramadan is the month of the Quran, right? And the Quran is a book which is not like any other book. It's not a history book. It is not a ritual book. It is not something we put on the shelf as a decoration piece. The Quran is a book that we really should relate with, ponder upon, that we should take as a serious part of our life.
makes the Quran a priority, inshallah, especially in this turning point time of transitioning into high school, and I'm also including those girls who are already in high school. I'm still, I'm still talking to you that this is still a very important time where we can choose to connect with the Quran. One way to connect with the Quran, for example, is to read the Quran, right? So of course, to read the Quran in Arabic has so many benefits, but also to read the Quran in English, okay, is another very important thing. And sometimes we forget to do that. Sometimes we're going for our prayers and we're just praying because we have to, we're just racing through life, and we're not really taking the time to ponder upon, to read the meaning and then to ponder upon the meaning and how it relates to our lives. And this is such an important thing, especially more so in the age of you beautiful girls here. Because alhamdulillah, I mean, many of us, elders, we are at a certain point in our lives, we still read the Quran every single day. But at this age, the difference is you are growing, you are developing yourself, and you're putting something in that may not have been there before, right? So you might be putting it in for the very first time into your system about the knowledge of what's in the Quran, from cover to cover. And I really think it is a really healthy initiative for everyone to try to read the whole Quran from cover to cover. So for one example would be, in Ramadan, if we make a goal to not only read the Arabic of the Quran, but to read the English of the Quran, and then to, reflect on the meaning, and then to really discuss how to apply those things in our lives. So I want to talk about that, inshallah, after we get into more of our book, to see what kind of plan we can make, inshallah, for the summer. There's 7 chapters in this book, and I just wanted to take a chance to share some of that with you. So some of it is more important than others. Some of it we've already talked about. For example, the journey of life. The first chapter talks about the journey of life and what is the Quran. And if we just touch on that concept, I mean, anytime we get something new, whether it's a new appliance, it could be an iPad, it could be a phone, it could be a laptop, what we do is we look at the instruction manual. And as we have talked about in the past, why do we look at the instruction manual? I mean, even a few minutes ago, I had to pull up on the computer, on the internet, an instruction manual for something. And the reason is, when we try to figure something out in our own logic, in our own mind, then what happens is we have a limited knowledge of that, a limited understanding, right? And so whenever we really need help, we know in our heart that whoever created that thing, that company or that person knows better about the workings, the inner workings of how to make that thing operate. So similarly with the Quran, when we believe in the Quran, we believe that Allah created us, we look to the Quran as a complete guidebook for everything in our life. And so we put down what our own thoughts and feelings are, and we turn to the Quran in hopes of that guidance. So, we start off with really believing in it, understanding its role in our life, that it is not, they used to say, they used to say that this is for people of old. It doesn't apply now. The verses of the Quran don't apply. For example, nowadays, if you want to buy a house, you have to pay interest, or if you want to, get a job, you have to dress a certain way, you have to mix men and women, you have to do whatever. However, in the Quran, we're taught a certain way of life, and it does apply to us universally through all times. Okay? And yes, you guys are welcome, by the way. Anybody is welcome to get any of the food or any of the drinks anytime. Please help yourself, inshallah. Okay? It's not a problem. So, the thing with the Quran is there's a lot more to it, because, and I just want to take a few minutes to appreciate the message in this book, because the message that Quran is saying is worth contemplating. A lot of times
have no doubt in that, and we can't dismiss it, right? And so we accept it, we trust it, then we obey what's in it, and we have to be willing to change ourselves based on what's in the Quran. This is where the difficulty comes in, or the struggle comes in. This is where we really comb out who we are inside, and this is where Allah is watching us and helping us. Is where we have to change what's in ourselves. Let's start with the obligation of prayer, right? The obligation of prayer. Sometimes, maybe we're not accustomed to praying, or we're not there yet. We're not feeling, like a strong connection when it comes to prayer. But the fact that we need to obey and change what's within us, this is a place where we need to work on ourselves. There's going to be obstacles, and that's another point that's discussed in this book. Whenever we change ourselves, then what happens? For example, if the message in the Quran is telling us that certain movies are really sinful for us to watch, it's sinful for us to watch certain things or listen to certain things. What are the obstacles that might come in our path when we're trying to, change ourselves? Well, one example might be the friends that we have. If they're used to watching maybe a certain series and that series is not good, or they're used to watching certain movies, or really adapting certain fashions maybe, and those are against Islam, then one obstacle might be our loss of our friendship or our loss of our acceptance in that group, right? And so when we are trying to change ourselves, we are going to face hazards and obstacles. And that's when we need to grow our relationship with Allah, right? And so that comes through ibadah and also our connection through our Quran.
Yes. Sometimes, subhanAllah, when we are little, our parents, they like control what you are watching, what we are listening, right? But you are in this age, they are not controlling anymore what you are saying, what you are watching, what you are listening, music, kind of music, anything, they are not. So, at this point, you need to talk to yourself honestly. Do I like follow the Allah guidance in this particular way, or do I follow that like my friend? Maybe when you are little, your friends doing this, you are not doing this because your parents are controlling what you are doing. But in this age, your parents they are not controlling anymore. Who is like affecting you more? Your friends, right? Sometimes I like this friend so much, and she's so honest, and she's so polite, and she is amazing friend. But subhanAllah, in this point, maybe she has a defect, little bit, like she's listening to bad music. It has very, very, very bad words. Or sometimes she loves this movie, and it has like sinful, like things in it. What is my role in this situation? Should I like follow the things? Okay, she's my best friend. I don't want to make her bad, sad, or something. Or should I like, okay, you are my friend. I like you. I want to be with you in Jannah. You should be firm, because subhanAllah, if you are not firm in this age, when you are adult, it will be easier and easier. I see myself. I was better in this age, you are age, and university age, better than now. Now, I'm so busy. I don't have time to do ibadah. I do like salah. SubhanAllah, in your age, I have plenty of time. I can make like tahajjud every day. I can read Quran for hours. I can finish the Quran 3 times in Ramadan. I miss these. I really miss these, SubhanAllah, things. What I'm saying, like, SubhanAllah, you are in age, you should be controlling yourself. Like, watch out, really watch out. Like, okay, now, I'm the judge on myself. Not my parents, not my friends, not the community. Take responsibility. Take responsibility to judge yourself.
And this is another point we're going to bring up with this about taking responsibility. That's exactly one thing I was going to bring up, inshallah. It's very natural. Like so Sister Nadia was mentioning, a concept that in this age, girls, it's not totally your parents. In fact, Day of Judgment, can I answer to Allah about what I'm doing, or can I not? And that is one strategy that we can use. Okay, back to some of the things in this book. So basically, states of consciousness. So a beautiful chapter, chapter 3 in this book, Way to the Quran, is called Participation of the Inner Self. What does that mean? How many of you have ever been in a class where the whole class goes by and you didn't even hear one word the teacher said? I think that's happened to all of us, right? So what happens is we're not engaged inside. We're not participating inside. And what I want to appeal to all of you today, being at this unique age, is to please take an opportunity to really connect with the Quran by reading it and using our inner participation skills. Okay, not just letting it go by, but to really participate through reflection, questioning, thinking about how we can apply this in our lives. For example, when we hear the story of a prophet, it could be Prophet Musa, it could be Prophet Isa, whoever it is, think about how was that really even possible? Fatima, would you answer this, please? How was that even possible for a miracle like that to occur? Like, let's say, the sea parting, or Isa alayhi salam to be born and speak. Just to think, not just to take it like a novel, but to really think and appreciate that this is Allah that made this thing happen. And then to think how we can take a lesson from that in our own lives, right? So these are some examples of how to participate. Also, when we're reading the Quran, we should feel that every single message is directly for us. So I remember, and it was not long ago, it was literally a month ago, I was dealing with some people who were Muslim by name. And it was very frustrating for me. Thank you, Sister. It was extremely frustrating for me to the degree that I was crying. And sometimes this is what happens. Sometimes I ask Allah, please guide me in this situation because I'm losing my patience. So, I remember Allah is so merciful. I opened the Quran and then it talked about these verses, and even though they were addressed to the Prophet's wives, there's a reason why they're in the Quran. So it was saying in those verses, O consorts of the Prophet, you will get double the reward of a normal person. And subhanAllah, I knew that Allah was guiding me. I knew that Allah was answering my prayer, that I need help in this situation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was reminding me that if you're a believing woman, you don't have to be the Prophet's wife. Obviously, we're not. But if you are trying to emulate the right path, you know what? You're going to get double the reward. Because we're not doing things in the way that the dunya people are doing things. People of the dunya, it's very easy to, to kind of, go down that path. But when you're trying to really apply Islam in your life, then you may have many obstacles, things might be harder. And it makes sense to me that there was an ayah that said you get double the reward. But it helped me to remember the way that Allah has really given us these rewards and these opportunities, and it helped me to stay, to keep my iman strong. Okay. This is subhanAllah, I can't tell you how beautiful this book is, and inshallah, hopefully you'll get to read my version of it one day. But here it's also talking in chapter 3 about acts of the heart and the body. How many of you have maybe ever watched a movie where you literally cry? Anybody done that? Anybody experienced that? We all did, right? How many of you have maybe read a novel where it made you either laugh or by the end of it you were crying or you
Crying.
I don't cry.
So that means that this flesh inside of us, this heart, it feels a response to things that we are reading at times. And when we are reading the Quran, we should also feel a response. And that is another very important point that's written in this beautiful book. That if there's a story that comes to us, which is a story of faith, then our faith should increase. Our heart, if you read maybe a surah that's talking about the Day of Judgment, our heart might tremble.
should have a response on our tongue. Maybe subhanallah, maybe astaghfirullah, maybe, masha'Allah. Tears in our eyes. There are times when we should be reading the Quran and there should be tears in our eyes. And you don't have to answer this in front of everyone, but ask yourself, have you ever had tears in your eyes when you're reading the Quran? Also, posture of your body. When we're reading the Quran, we should be really in a respectful position. And sometimes in this culture, since we're not taught this concept normally from our surroundings, we forget, and then it goes into whenever we're using the Quran or reading the Quran. But I know in other countries, at least back in the day, they used to make a big deal out of respecting, and we should not forget that also. Reading with tartil means that reading with beautification. Of course, there's tajweed, but also there's tartil. Then we have the concept of seeking Allah's help in dua. So we can also ask for Allah's guidance, ask for Allah's help to internalize what we're reading. The next chapter in this book talks about rules of reading. How often to read, how much to read, when to read, reading correctly, reading beautifully, listening attentively, completing the Quran and memorizing the Quran. And I love this, subhanAllah. How often should we read the Quran? Who can tell me? I want one ayah. That is even more valuable than reading all of Arabic and not reflecting. So every single day is the right answer.
And also,
How much do you get?
and also when you have your phone, there's a Quran app, and whenever you have free time, you can easily go on Quran on your phone, which is way easier.
If we all did this, imagine.
Napa.
We would be like a big jewelry store here. This is a great idea. If we can use our phones for the Quran app, this would be such a great way of making our phone like an act or a thing of pleasure to Allah instead of just something else. We could be getting rewards from our phone. And it's also very convenient because sometimes when you try to, walk around with a full Quran and you have your other books and everything, it gets heavy. So it's nice to use our phone or whatever we have. Reading correctly, of course, that concept is reading with the tajweed. So we're just going over some basics here. Reading correctly, we should all try to aim to know the correct tajweed rules. Reading beautifully is, of course, another one. Listening attentively. So I hope that we all know that whenever the Quran is playing, we should listen, right? We shouldn't be talking during that time. The next one is completing the Quran. For example, khatam. Let me see if there's a little bit more that I can tell you. So the khatam, how many of you have a goal that in Ramadan you want to read the whole Quran?
Me.
Yes? Is everybody here? Inshallah. Is that a good goal for everybody here? That in Ramadan, at least one time, we're all going to read the whole Quran in Arabic? Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Inshallah, if not more. I know some of us might, inshallah, get to do more. But at a minimum, we do one time. And inshallah, it's going to be,
Inshallah.
inshallah, it's going to be the summer, so there's going to be so much opportunity. And, we talked about being prepared. Start thinking from now. What are the goals you're going to have this Ramadan? How is it going to be the best Ramadan of our lives? And really, we don't know if we'll be here next year. At the beginning we talked about what a blessing it is that we're alive today, that we're here today. We, no matter what has happened in the past in our lives, we can try to make this the best Ramadan in our lives. How many of us can commit to making this upcoming Ramadan, right before high school? Some of us are in high school. How many of us can commit to making this the absolutely best Ramadan we've ever had? Can we raise our hands, inshallah, girls? The best Ramadan of our lives. There is no doubt. This one is going to be the one where we read the Quran, we try our best to study the meaning, we try our best to apply what's inside. And inshallah, this is going to be our goal together, and we're going to try to, inshallah, make that happen. Inshallah.